if you are not familiar with, if you are seeing it from the first time here, then let me first introduce myself. And so, yeah, so I am Murtaza. I am from India, and I was actually a past GSOC student here in back in 2020 when the COVID hit. So at that point of time, uh, I had worked on a project called Dialogflow and Rasa integration with Rocket.Chat. So that project was that project was kind of fun, and we ended up creating a very good solution that is actually even now still useful for people who want to develop chatbots and integrate their chatbots with uh, with omni-channel conversations. You can have not sure if this is not very popular use case which is popular uh, in new students, but if you're not familiar, Rocket Chat can be used as an omnichannel solution. So you can actually start conversations from Instagram, Facebook, WhatsApp, Twitter, or any other providers, any other solutions, and you can answer those questions on uh, Rocket Chat site. So you can have a consolidated view of all the conversations that you receive from other platforms. If you have users on other platforms, you can uh, get a response. You can answer all of them, answer all those users from within site Rocket Chat at the same place. So what my project was contributed was it helped you to integrate Dialogflow and Rasa and automate and build chatbots. So at the end of the day, if you have if there is any conversation that is now initiated from WhatsApp or Facebook, anything, then we have the option to forward those conversations to Dialogflow or Rasa and kind of have some automated responses and automated chatbot mechanism built in. So yeah, that project was kind of cool, and even I see that it it's actually open source. If you want to see the code, it's available on GitHub under Rocket Chat repository. So yeah, so that was the project which I had worked on during my GSOC season. And then after GSOC student season, I still contributed. I really liked working with my mentor. So I he asked me to uh, continue working with him. So I joined Rocket.Chat, and right now I'm full time working at Rocket.Chat as a software developer. And so I wanted to take this uh, time to share my journey and then share some tips with you guys on how to create a kind of winning proposal. I'm saying. Uh, uh, so so let me share my screen, and yeah, perfect. So cracking the code, tips for crafting the winning proposal. The $1 million question that how can I uh, write a proposal which gets accepted. So I decided to kind of let's say I decided to share my experience, my tips with you guys on this topic. So yeah, I think I already covered this topic. I was a meet uh yeah, so I think I already covered this topic, so I'm gonna skip this. Yeah, so I have before I move ahead, I have four tips which I wanted to share with you guys. So let me start with the first one. So so the first thing that I would kind of highly recommend is that whatever project you are trying to uh, select and work on, please make sure that you need to understand the goals and objectives of the project. You need to very clear on that front before you actually start working on the plan or actually start working on implementation of the crafting the proposal. So for at least for Rocket.Chat, we have like an entire comprehensive list of all the ideas on our documentation page. On over there, you will find a list of all the ideas. So for any newcomer, I would recommend going through all the ideas. Uh, if, if you won't be able to go through it in the one sitting, so have multiple sessions and kind of go through all the ideas and see which of the ideas interest you. You might be interested in web development. You might be interested in some AI programming. So we have, uh, I think we have most of projects across multiple domains. So whichever projects kind of are you find interested in, and you feel like you are familiar with the technologies uh, and you're familiar with the technologies and you kind of feel comfortable working on it, then select, kind of shortlist those projects, and then from that shortlisted projects, then kind of work on understanding the goals and objectives of each of the projects. Yeah, and here I want to share one more tip here that kind of was very helpful for me. Uh, so in our Rocket Chat, we kind of create a if you see we have a GStock channel, GStock 2023, and in that channel, in that okay, it's not a channel, it's a team in terminology. So in that team, we have multiple channels, and each channel uh, and you will find over there some channels for specific ideas. So for example, some of the projects that I'm entering, like live chat widget or chat GPT or chat GPT summarization model and the template message. So you will find dedicated channels for uh, each of those project ideas. And so I would recommend actually joining that channel and actually going through past messages to understand, to kind of uh, see what the project idea is about and what questions uh, the people are asking about it. This was actually quite helpful for me because when I was joining in back in 2020, I had actually joined very late. So I still recall like I had applied for the program. I actually got introduced to Rocket.Chat just uh, I think 2 to 3 weeks before the deadline, and then so it is actually quite late. And if you we have people who are actually even this year we have people who are actually engaged with the community like 6 to 7 months before the GSOC season. So comparatively, me just joining in just 2 to 3 weeks back was actually quite late, and even I was actually kind of frightened at that point of time. So the thing that helped me was I went through the setup, the channel of the discussion, and I read through all the previous messages that the student had asked, students and the mentors had interacted with, and from those messages I kind of got an idea about what's the kind of expectation that the mentor has from this project. And because the thing is, whatever questions you might have, it's likely that someone else might have also asked the same question to the mentor. So so instead of going so 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 based on that, those previous messages in the channel, they helped me a lot in understanding the goals and objective of the project, uh, and then it obviously helped me craft a proposal. And yeah, obviously, I in the past messages you won't find everything. There might be some new questions that you have. Then in that case, if you have some new questions which you see that it has not been answered, then use the channel to ask those questions to the mentors. And yeah, at least the mentors that uh, I have senior is they are kind of very responsive. They help you a lot with your proposals. So uh, because like people mentioned, Singly and people mentioned, a lot of the mentors are actually students from the past, GSOC students like me. So I know how helpful this initial help, this initial assistance is for any GSOC students, because we were at that in your shoes some while back. So we try to help you a lot, help you as much as we can. to assist you with your proposals. So yeah. So in summary, in summary, try to understand the project goals and objectives, and be very ask questions to your mentors. Make sure before you move ahead of this step, you before you go to the proposal writing or implementation, before you move to that step, make sure this you have a clear idea of the goals and objectives of your project. So yeah, that was my first step, and the second step is propose a concrete plan. So it's much simpler to say than it's done in this case, because uh, it's one of those things that is very much simpler to say than it's done. But I will share with some tips that help me. So the first step is, if you have gone through my first, is a kind of continuation of my first step, that propose try to develop a solution or a plan that is fully aligned with your project goal and objectives. So if you are clear about the goals and objectives of the project, then this step should kind of come naturally to you. And so yeah, that's the first step. The second step is, this is very critical. You have so for your GSOC season, you have to keep your deadline in mind. So that means you have to you because you only have just 2 to 3 months to develop the entire solution, and whichever project you take into consideration, that project will also always have infinite amount of not infinite, innumerable amounts of project ideas that you can small enhancement or something that you can make to improve the user experience or something like that. There will always be something that you can do better, but what you need to make sure is that you have to respect the deadline first of all. And so how you can do it? So what I usually recommend is that you list out all the features that are very essential for your project to work. Those are kind of the features or scopes that uh, are very critical for your own project, and these are the these are they kind of lay the foundation of any future works. So map out the bare essential features uh, that are essential to your kind of project completion. And then there will be some features like those are good to have. They are not uh, critical for a project to succeed, but they are something that would enhance the user experience, and it would and uh, that would enhance the user experience in short. But they are not essential. So make sure you separate when you are trying to plan the proposal. Make sure you separate out those two ideas. And the reason why you need to separate it is I recommend segregating these ideas uh, is so that uh, the bare essential features, they need to fit your timeline. You need to make sure that those essential features, they need to uh, fit your specific timeline, and you should also have some specific buffer within your timeline to work on for any kind of unforeseen uh, consequence, something that might occur in the future that you have not planned of. So you said you should have some buffer. So for a GSA proposal, I would only recommend focusing on the bare essential features, and then the good to have ones you can work on it. Then you can actually list those features in the proposals, and you can actually mention that you will try to work on it once your those bare essential features are out. So uh, that's kind of I think that's a very important step that I had followed during my season. I had like list of good to have ones and good to some of the essential features for my integration to work. So yeah, and moving to the third tip. So clearly, this is something that I have actually, this season actually I have mentoring couple of projects. So I have been fortunate enough to kind of review a couple of proposals. one kind of common review I always, I'm kind of one common kind of feedback I'm always giving to all those. I'm seeing that in most of the proposals that they are that the students, the participants are kind of not uh, are kind of just explaining the ideas and kind of proposing their solution. They are not digging into the technical details and how the end user experience should look like. So this is something I would recommend doing more within your proposal. Try to it's good that you are sharing the high level concepts and flows and everything, but try to dig more into the technical requirements of the project. Like let's say if you are going to use an API, then use an external API within your project, then mention that okay, this is the API that I'm going to use, and this is the payload that we are going to send, this is the response that we are going to receive, and all that. So those are the technical details that we are maybe as mentors are very looking to understand that that the student has an understanding of the project uh, that he's trying to, yeah. So these are the kind of small points that should help you. And yeah, the second point is, yeah, add some, okay, yeah. And if your project is like UI facing, that it involves some modifications on user side, like it's something that is visual, then I would highly recommend adding some wireframes or UI components to your proposal. You can create some designs on there are a lot of good tools out there like Figma, where you can easily create wireframes and kind of uh, show how the end user experience would look like with your solution in place. Quick note here, we don't expect, I don't think any of the not me or not any of the mentors would expect any professional designs here. You just have to make, so you don't have to kind of create a pixel perfect design. It just have to, you just have to make sure that you illustrate the user experience and the designs are clear. That's it. Uh, yeah, so that was the step. It had multiple substeps, but yeah, you get the idea. So you propose a, yeah, so this was about proposing a concrete plan. Moving to the next step, I think I'm already running a little late. Uh, yes, I will try to speed up a little bit. So yeah, this step is very important, and this was kind of the critical reason why I feel I kind of got selected during, even when I had very little span of 3 weeks before 3 to 4 weeks before the proposal. So what I would highly recommend is you need to demonstrate your skills to your mentor. You need to uh, make them kind of have some confidence in you that you would be able to complete the project. There are a couple of ways to do that. One is you make contributions to the project. For example, if your project involves live chat widget, then yeah, I'm entering a project for live chat widget, and I am, so yeah, so that widget involves a piece of technology called live chat. That is a package within Rocket.Chat core. So so if you have a project like that, then it's good to kind of contribute to the same live chat code and kind of illustrate that I am familiar with the technologies, and I am familiar with, see, I have made this contributions to the project, and I am familiar with the technologies, so you can safely bet on me. So those are one of the ways to kind of make the mentors feel comfort, have confidence in you. And the second thing worked for that was quite helpful for me was building a POC for your project. So what I mean as a POC. So let's say, let me take my example. I had the Dialogflow and Rasa integration project. So uh, so that project involved sending message from any omnichannel conversation like live chat, and that conversation should reach Dialogflow, and it should return the response from Dialogflow to the live chat project. So I built a simple app during my proposal phase itself to kind of illustrate like what I'm going to do, what steps I'm going to follow, and what steps I'm going to follow. So I just created a simple, very basic app. It was not very good, I did lots of hacks over there and just kind of fit it all together to make it work. But it showed my mentor that I had the understanding of the system. I had the understanding of all the pieces involved within the project, and it gave them the confidence to select me uh, for the project. So yeah, so build a POC if possible to that would help increase the confidence uh, uh, for you in your mentor, and you would actually get hands-on. Yeah, you will also get hands-on knowledge of the actual technology involved. So you will it would also help you on the proposal. And one quick note I would like to add here. So be very, so be very careful about if you're planning to build a POC, because you cannot build a POC for like 3 to 4 projects. You have to be very uh, focused on 1 or 2 projects. You need to know that, okay, these are only 2 projects I will be focusing on, and you need then and only then for those 1 or 2 projects you can build POC. If you cannot build, you don't have enough time to build kind of working models for working samples for all the projects. Uh, that many, 3 to 4 projects. So don't focus that much. Try to narrow down the projects that you are going to work on and then build POC on top of those projects. That would really be helpful for your, like I said, to kind of give the confidence boost to your mentors to select you. So yeah, that's one thing. And yeah, that was the step about demonstrating your skills. And the last step is getting feedback from mentors. So as soon as don't try to wait to create a perfect draft. I've seen this a lot of times within students. They try to make sure that their proposal is very uh, they don't share their proposals early with students, early with their mentors. They kind of reiterate on, kind of work on it on their own, and then at the very end they kind of start sharing it. So don't try to do it. We as mentors also expect. We understand that uh, we don't expect like super amazing proposal at the first draft. So whenever you feel like it's good enough, it's good enough for a first draft, then just share it with your mentors, get their early feedback, and you can actually not just share. I'm actually seeing this year. People are actually reaching out on LinkedIn from other GSA proposals, and they are asking for other mentors from other organizations to review it to get some fresh perspective. So you can even do that, or you can even reach out to your fellow peers to kind of get their review. So try to get as much review, as much second opinion as possible to kind of as much perspective as possible within your proposal, and so you can improve it. Uh, so you can improve uh, your your final. You, you know, you can go through all those refinement stages, and you can create the final product, which is much better than your first. And a small note here, whenever you are asking for any reviews, be sure that you are open for any healthy criticism. So some mentors, it I've it might happen that some mentors would not like some approach that you are following within your proposal. It's not as aligned with their mentors' expectations, so they would comment on it and they would suggest you to do something else, or some or follow some different way. So in that case, be ready for any constructive criticism over here, and make sure you incorporate the changes that uh, mentors are suggesting you within your proposal before you submit it finally. And yeah, that was it for me. That was mostly it. Uh, I don't think I have put this. Yeah, so yeah, in the end, I don't wanna. Uh, in the end, I would just like to say that this is. Uh, I would just like to give best of luck to everyone who's participating, and I hope that this is a fun journey for every one of you, and you get to learn a lot from this program. And yeah, that was that. Thank you. Sorry about the overtime. I think I take 11 minutes more. But I hope this was helpful. And yeah, let me know if you have any questions. I am in the GSOC channel. You can search me as Murtaza MURTAZ, and feel free to ping me. And if you have any questions related to the projects that I'm entering, then feel free to ask it in the channel. Yeah, thank you. That's it.